dreaded podcast selfie. But let's go ahead and do it and jump into this episode number 357 of Raiders Fan Radio.
Mike Garafolo, NFL Network here in the home office, and you are listening to the Raiders Fan Radio podcast, taking that lighter journey into the dark side with Murf, Swag Jeff, and Michelle. She's got great hair. It's a little pink, it's a little purple, whatever it is. I'll tell you what, if I could grow it, I would sign up for that color today. So listen to her and the entire crew as they give you all the information on the Raiders on the podcast that benefits the One Nation Foundation. It's a great cause. It's a great pod. Tune in, turn it up. Here it comes. All that Raiders info and takes coming at you right now.
Jackpot, baby. Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, a Lincoln cut, touchdown!
Miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio. Take it away, guys.
There we go. Is this thing on? Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we trust will be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Episode number 357, coming to you live from the, the living room here as we're still waiting on the new fan cave to get built. But excited to be here with you, Raider Nation. Excited to talk a little bit of Raiders football. Or are we? Man, it's always fun to get together with you all, but this freaking team is a grind right now at this point. But anyways, before we get to that, just want to thank all of those of you that are joining us in the chat room tonight. I appreciate Jordan Ford in there. Yoshi is in there. Sacktown Raider Mike. Scott is in there. Let's see. Martin is in there. Paul is in there. The UK contingent checking in for Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate Ron the Mater Raiders so much. Oh my gosh, Yoshi, out of the gate, dude. Yoshi, that is incredibly kind, and what a perfect way to kick off this episode of Raiders Fan Radio with a $50 donation in there. Thank you so much, brother. We cannot appreciate you enough for that very, very kind and generous donation. Way to kick off I don't know if we're going to do another one of these. We'll probably do another one of these before Christmas. Might even need to get Uncle Mosh in here, being that now he's literally Santa Claus. But anyways, we'll see you again. But kicking it off here, the giving season with that $50 donation, 100% of the money that we make around here goes to our foundation, our nonprofit, which is the One Nation Foundation, and gives strictly to Raiders-related charities. So whether that's direct donations like the kindness of Yoshi there, whether that's you buy like our Christmas hoodie or T-shirt that we have available on our TeePublic site, anything that you do to help us generate revenue around here, we give 100% of that money away. And the Bolitnikoff Foundation is one of the big entities that we give to. Had a real nice conversation with Angela Bolitnikoff last week, talking about our plans for 2025, and also congratulating her on the opening of the new Tracy's Place of Hope in Southern Nevada. They have opened it up there on the St. Jude's Ranch, and the new Tracy's Place of Hope is going to offer rehabilitative services and a safe place for young women at risk of domestic violence and substance abuse. And then also the Bolitnikoff Center of Hope is there, and that's going to offer counseling services as well to these young women. And so can't do that, or they can't do that without the support of their donors. And, we're a small part of it, but we're a part of it. And so 100% of the money that we get around here goes to that. And so thank you, Yoshi, again, for that very, very kind donation. Thank you, brother. And that's what it's all about right there, Raider Nation. We say this Raider Nation is family. It's La Familia, and, it's no joke, man. We are here to lift each other up, lift our communities up, and no one does that better in any other fan base than, if you ask us, than what Raiders fans are. So anyways, back into the show. So this is a podcast selfie. I can't stand doing these things, but the good thing about a podcast selfie and doing them is that we get to interact with you all still here live in the chat room, and then your voicemails. That's why we wanted to do this, is that Swag and Michelle will be back tomorrow. So we will have another live Raiders Fan Radio coming to you tomorrow night. But in the meantime, we wanted to get to those voicemails tonight, and so that's what we're going to get to soon enough. So appreciate you very, very much once again. So let me go ahead and hit some contact info, and then let's chat a little bit about this last Monday night, and then a little bit about what we have to look forward to or don't against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Woo! Hey, Raider Nation! You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an updated contact info. So sit up, zip up, shut up, and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murf would say it, 909-345-3346. How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes? Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, the Twit at Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio, Insta something, Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio, the tiki-tiki-taki-talk, TikTok at Raiders Fan Radio, or what about the Twitch? Some of you out there twitching. Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube. America, go to the YouTube. YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good. That was easy. So anyways, thank you, Raider Nation. Appreciate you all very, very much. Once again, appreciate Martin in there. Paul is in there. Jordan Ford. Hey, it's Michelle. She's in there. Sacktown Raider Mike. Ron the Mater Raider. House Junkies is in there. Appreciate you all very, very much for this jumping in for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. All right, so let's talk a little bit. Again, more for you and less of us is always the best thing. But just to lead some thoughts, man. I did the postgame show with Scott on Silver and Black today. And, the initial thoughts coming out of that game was kind of more of what we expected. And here's what I want to float out to you, Raider Nation. There was a point that I made, and the chat didn't really interact with it at the time. But I want to, now that we're back at, it's just us here, just usins, as we say. I want to ask you guys, man, did you look forward to that game? And that's a genuine question. I don't mean, did you look forward to Raider football? Because I know you all look forward to Raider football. I look forward to Raider football. There will never be an upcoming Raider game, especially on prime time, that I won't look forward to, based on the idea that I just love the imagery of the Raiders. I love seeing the shots of Allegiant Stadium. I loved seeing the shots when they were in Oakland. I love it now that they're in Las Vegas. You see the Las Vegas, the Strip, and then you see Allegiant Stadium, and you see that big, gorgeous shield emblazoned on the green grass, panning across our screen. I love the way that the lights reflect off the helmets. Like when it comes to seeing the Raiders, I get excited for that. So that will never change, because this silver and black heart is going to, pump silver and black blood until the day I die. But I didn't look forward to the game, because and the idea that we knew they weren't going to be competitive. They're just not. We're just not a good football team. We're literally, as of today, the worst team in football. And so it's hard to get fired up or excited to watch the worst team in football play on Monday night when you know what's going to happen. And this is an underachieving Atlanta Falcons team, and yet that underachieving team pretty much beat the shit out of us without any question. I know that there was a little bit of a flash there at the end when it was like, oh my gosh, the Raiders actually have a chance to win this damn thing. But outside of that, you have a quarterback in Kirk Cousins who got benched Like, dude did not have a good game. And he's benched for Michael Penix, which, yeah, duh. Like, I mean, that probably should have happened a while ago. But anyways, my point being is that guy played bad enough to get benched, and yet we still lost pretty decisively for the most part. So I ask you, genuinely, like, and I can't really keep up with the chat now, especially on a selfie, but I want to go back and read your answers. You know, did you look forward to watching the game? Are you looking forward to this Jaguars game? Are you excited to watch the Raiders? Because I have a hard time with that, man. And we're owning our feelings here. We talk about this being Raider therapy all the time. Like, I'm going to miss Raider football when it's over. After 3 more weeks and this thing is done, I'm going to miss having the Raiders on. But I'm not going to miss this season, man. This season is awful. 2 wins and 10 straight losses. I mean, y'all, like, this is some of the worst it's been since 2006. And shout out Raiders history on Twitter, because I put out a post during the game and I said that. I'm like, this is the worst it's been since 2006. And he was like, well, Murf, not to be that guy, but, and put out some stats. And I wish I had them handy. I don't have them handy, but it was like, oh, because I said this is the worst team since 2006, except worse, because in 2006, at least we had a decent defense. And there's some people out there that say, like, well, they had a good defense only because teams knew all they had to do was go up by 7, and then that was it. The Raiders weren't going to beat them. Well, point being, though, still, is that you had Nnamdi Asomugha, you had Stu Schweiger, you still had some great players on that team in 2006. And they were like 3rd in the league that year in yards allowed and like 18th in points allowed, all right? And then, like, this team this year, the defense is like 24th and 27th or something like that. And so the idea of, like, this really is worse than 2006. And unless we squeak by and catch a break against the Jaguars for some reason, unless we win that game, like, we're likely not going to win again. I mean, we got a Saints team that's down, yes, but still has some very talented players. And then we got the Chargers. Like, and the Chargers are going to beat the snot out of us. So I don't know, man. This might go down as one of the worst of the worst. I mean, this is like, as of already right now, and I have the number in there. Let me see if I can find that picture. So I took a screenshot of it because I was fascinated by it. Yeah, here it is. So check this out. So here, the Raider records since the inception of the football team, the worst season for the Raiders was in 1962. We went 1-13 in that season. And if you think about it, I mean, because now we play so many more games, that's really kind of on par for what was going on back then. Then you got 2006, as I mentioned. We were 2-14 in 2006. 1961, the Raiders were 2-12. That's good for the 3rd worst season record in team history. So we are right now sitting, matching the 3rd worst record in team history. And the only reason that's got a chance to get better is because there's more games, but it may get worse. So here you go. You got the 2024 Raiders at 2-11, and then the next after that, this is only slightly better than 2018. Anybody remember that? That was a 4-12 season. That's literally where we're at with this Raiders squad. And so, you know, I want to always have the players back. You know, I genuinely think that they're putting it all out there. They haven't quit. But then I also too, I had a thought on that after show, and again, I want to know your thoughts, Raider Nation. That this whole idea of, like, applauding the team for not quitting, like, should we be celebrating that? Like, that's the bare minimum. Like, I'm glad they haven't quit, because we've seen Raider teams quit before too. But is that something that's worth highlighting? And I don't think so. That's like highlighting being on time. There's, like, you know what I mean? It's like some things are expected. You should be on time. You should work hard at your job. And if you don't, and then you underperform, don't be shocked if you get fired and or let go. And then even sometimes you could even be your best and still get fired or let go. Because I think Antonio Pierce is doing his best, but his best isn't good enough. It's not very good. But anyways, the point being, though, is that, like, that whole notion of, like, well, like, yay, players, because they didn't quit. Now, you're not supposed to quit. Like, that's never an option. When shit gets tough, you can't just curl up and go away. You know what I mean? Like, that's never going to be an option in real life or in football or in any other aspect. So I don't know. So I look at that and I'm like, but I do want to have the players back, because at least I do appreciate that idea that they haven't quit. Oh, I won't celebrate it. I can at least I'd rather that than some of the other Raider teams we've seen in the past that just lay down. So that's at least a little bit nice. But outside of that, man, like, there's not really a lot to get behind. I don't have any faith in this coaching staff. I think that Antonio Pierce is a dead man walking. I think this thing he's done. With the comments from Mark Davis this week talking about how Tom Telesco, well, he didn't say this, Tom Telesco, it's reported that Tom Telesco is backing away and separating himself from the current regime. And then Mark Davis's comments that, he was going to evaluate them individually. I think the writing's on the wall at this point. Mark Davis, you can make fun of him for a lot of different things, his haircut and where he eats and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, man, he's his father's kid. And neither he nor his old man liked being embarrassed. And then we just got embarrassed on Monday Night Football. So I think this thing, it's about a done deal at this point. So all that said, stay out of the negativity. Here's the positivities. The Raiders have something really favorable to do for the benefit of their future, and that's drafting our franchise quarterback. Something else that's come up this week is the idea that, some are saying that like, oh, we should do best player available or take Travis Hunter or whatever the case may be. And it's brought up because it's brought up under the notion of, well, don't you remember what it was like when the Raiders the last time we did this? Well, this is something else I said on Silver and Black today was don't let your trauma, the past of your trauma inform your future. Like just because we did something 17 years ago and it didn't work out doesn't mean that we don't need to try it again. Like it's in the NFL, you go the direction of your quarterback, and if you don't have one, you have to try and try and try again. And as Yoda famously said, there is no try, there's do or do not. And so the Raiders need to do it. We need to draft the quarterback until we frickin' find one. That's a reason that the Titans are going to draft a quarterback this year, because they drafted Malik Willis, they drafted Will Levis, neither one of them worked out, and they're going to draft another one. Like, that's just the way it's going to go. And so, the Giants drafted Daniel Jones. It didn't work out, so they're going to do it again. Like, you have to do that in the NFL. And so that idea that, to play it safe or we can sign Sam Darnold, like, give me a break with that, man. Sam Darnold is going to have Kevin O'Connell calling plays for him, and he's not going to have the surrounding cast that he does in Minnesota. So don't get fooled by that. It's time to invest in our future. It's time to grow. It's time to move on. No Band-Aids at quarterbacks. We heard that, but we haven't seen it yet. So hopefully we don't see that. And hopefully we got this young kid, that wants to be a Raider. Like, okay, well, let's give him an opportunity to be a Raider. Let's give him an opportunity to help turn this franchise around with the help of Sir Thomas Brady and whatever this new regime is going to look like. Let's give that young man an opportunity. And then hopefully we will have something to look forward to. Because I would say this too, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to shut up, is that I started off kind of this whole rant here about, not looking forward to watching the game. If you have a young quarterback and the team is battling and there's like hope and there's bright spots, like there's something to root for, a future-wise, then it still is compelling. Then it's still good television. It's still a great watch, and especially for us fans, it still feeds that energy because it's like, okay, like this guy's got talent and he's going to only get better. And that gives you hope and that gives you something to look forward to. And so even if the record doesn't come out next year the way that we wanted to, say we go 9-8 with a friggin' rookie quarterback, like that's okay, cool. You never want to go a 5-12 or any of that kind of stuff, but if you can see improvement at that position and then the opportunity to grow then everywhere else under a rookie contract and build a team, like, telling you, man, it gives us something to look forward to and something to be excited about. So anyways, all right, Raider Nation, love you guys very much. Thanks for listening to my rant there. Let me go head out the chat room here, and then it's time to get to you because I want to hear your opinions. Appreciate Martin in the chat room. Jason Hunter is in there. Mr. Wrong is in there. Paul is in there. Let's see. Ron, I already said Ron. Rossi is in there. What's up, Rossi? Roland Dubs is in there. Let's see. Morris Michelle is in there. What's up, Michelle? Appreciate all of those of you joining us for this episode. Once again, we will be back live tomorrow night with Michelle and Swag Jeff in here. But we're doing this show to get to the Sea of Fans mailbag. So I'm going to hit a couple breaks, and then we do have an advertising sponsor tonight. We have the good folks at Underdog are here, and so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Underdog, and then that's it. And we're going to get to your calls. So all right, let's check in, and let's see. I'm going to play a break. I'll pick one here, Josh. Go. Murf, you guys know my name.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Will Compton. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio. with my boys Murf, Swaggy Jeff, and Uncle Mosh. Tune in because they fucking put out a banger podcast.
Hey Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
All right, real quick, I'm going to tell you about Underdog. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all of your takes this football season. What players are going to go off? Which ones are ice cold? Make your entries in just a few taps and turn your sports opinions into real money. You could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on players' stats like passing yards, interceptions, touchdowns, and more. They've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You can create entries with all the football selections or mix and match across your other favorite sports. I like to place higher on yards, especially when you look at that game that happened the other night with Buffalo and Detroit. Higher on yards for Jared Goff, higher on yards for Josh Allen. And then one of my favorites this year to pick higher on touchdowns is James Cook. James Cook has had a phenomenal year for the Buffalo Bills. And so that's an idea of some of the kind of things you can pick to play. So anyways, you download the app today. It's Underdog Fantasy. And use this promo code. Write this down. Carve it into the dashboard, as Uncle Mosh says. Use promo code Murf. That's my name. M-U-R-F. That is Murf. And get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's Murf. M-U-R-F. Select higher or lower in your favorite players and cash in. Disclaimer, must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alaska, Nebraska, Colorado, 21 or over in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www, you know what those W's are, ncgambling.org in Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8 HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Promo code Murf. Underdog Fantasy. Thanks.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from The Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from The Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening to Murf and Mosh on Raiders Fan Radio. Yes! Fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught, he throws. It is.
All right, appreciate you, Raider Nation, joining us live for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. And if you want to be part of the live, well, not live portion, if you want to be part of the voicemail portion with the Sea of Fans mailbag, you can leave us a message at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Call and leave your message at any time, and we will play it on the show. You can also email us, which Michelle will read your emails tomorrow. And you can email the show at show, that is S-H-O-W, at RaidersFanRadio.com. All right, so people ask me about my Christmas tree over here and what I'm drinking. So Paul asked, why am I drinking a candle? It's a Marty Moose mug, Paul. Christmas vacation, brother. Shout out. All right, so, and then the tree, why don't I have a silver and black tree? It's because I have a Raider tree. It's just Raiders stuff. It's a white tree. It's only got Raiders ornaments on it. It's got a Raider football head thing on the top of it. Like, it's got Uncle Mosh's Santa Claus. It's got all kinds of stuff all over it. And it's just a tree for the Raiders. And so we usually have that set up. In fact, I leave it set up 24/7. I leave it set up 365 days a year in the fan cave. But I got no fan cave right now, so we're just down to the pretty colored tree with the angel on top. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. Look at all these wonderful things. But anyways, so we, yeah, that's why. That's why there's no silver and black tree. But there will be, brother. Come on. Yeah. I appreciate, and also asked about the socks video. So for those of you that, and I know you guys give us shit for not doing Raiders stuff all the time when we go off board a little bit, but my son and my gorgeous wife and my son's girlfriend made a video called Socks that's up on our channel. And it's, he asked what it's a parody of. Well, it's actually not a parody. It's the great J.D. McPherson, who's a fantastic musician. And if you don't know his music, check him out. He's got like a really throwback rockabilly vibe to his music. And he's got a Christmas album out there. And that Christmas album is Socks. And so that's the lead track. And it's fantastic. So check it out, J.D. McPherson. Support his music. And they had a blast doing videos. And Vinny wants to do more videos. So those that we do from the others that we're going to do, we are going to keep them Raider related. So, it won't be going off board too much. But we're going to start doing some fun stuff. We're going to start doing some creative stuff as we stretch our legs a little bit around here at Raiders Fan Radio. So appreciate you guys hanging in for that. All right, let's go to, look at, I made this fancy screen. Oh my gosh, it's so fancy. There's a football phone for those on the audio podcast. There's a football phone and then some text. Look at those graphics. You don't get that on your Xbox or your PlayStation. Come on now, what are we doing? All right, here we go. Let's first off in the Sea of Fans mailbag. By the way, let's see, earmuffs, if you got young ears around, because we're not editing voicemails anymore. As Pat McAfee says in his show, you're going to hear some language because that's how people talk in the real world. And so I kind of think that we're not going to, be super vulgar around here, nothing. That's never going to be our energy. But the idea is that, Raider fans, we get frustrated and we let shit blurt out every once in a while. And so anyways, so it's going to happen. So anyway, and not to mention, it's just a crap load of work for me to freaking edit all these damn things. So especially a guy like this, who if you're fond of the F-bomb, Michelle, shout out. If you're fond of the F-bomb, then you're going to be fond of our buddy down in Alabama. He is Josh in the 703.
What up, fam? This state we're in now, fucking fans have signed just tank, baby. That's how fucking bad we are. That's the state of fucking Raider Nation right now. And I just can't wrap my head around it. Who wants to lose? And no. If you bring a fucking sign that says tank for Shador or just tank baby, you want the team to lose. I don't understand that shit. I don't. I've got done watching the, Murf after the game, and I have to disagree. I know that we all would wish that, hey, we expected this for these players to play, to play harder at all times. That's not the truth. We've all if you're a Raider fan, you've seen plenty of Raider teams that did not play hard all the time, that just would give up. We've seen it. So the fact that Antonio Pierce, he hasn't been a great coach this year, I get that. I'm not picking his credit, but I got to give him credit on something, and that is effort. That's something that leaders get out of players. You get out of, who's under you. Because if you got someone that you don't want to fucking work for, you're not going to try hard. Period. Unless you got personal pride, and we know that not everyone's got that. I don't know, honestly, shout out to the defense, especially with all the injuries. But they really shored up. I think Kirk Cousins sucks anyway, so I'm not going to sit here and jump too high. But, with no Mac, no Bennett, lots of injuries, guys with all around. Isaiah Palamu, I kind of get tired of seeing his ass out there because he's just not doing a lot for me when it comes to it. Maybe it's just not good enough. And I don't understand why Brock Bowers is not getting the targets that he should be getting. That I just can't understand. Hell, even the broadcast is like, it starts with Bowers. But no. Desmond Ritter, we already knew what he was. That's why I agree with him. He should be the fucking practice squad guy. And see where he's got, because we know what Ritter is. We got the Jaguars, man. They suck. We suck. But it is what it is. Man! Fuck the Jaguars.
All right, there we go. It's Josh in the 703. I think his general sentiment there around like, yeah, you know, good leaders, you know, keep their, you know, constituents engaged. And again, that's where, I mean, I can be appreciative of that, Josh, but also too, man, don't fool yourself, man. Like, you know, players that lay down don't get second contracts, or they, you know, it's such a meritocracy in the NFL, and these guys' career are so short-lived. Are you going to risk laying down for a few games? You know, so, and I know that we've seen it, so I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, but you got to remember, though, too, they have a lot more on the line riding than just, oh, I like Antonio Pearson, I want to play for him. It's like they get individually evaluated highly. So I don't know, man. I know, you know, like we always say, too, that like we don't do this show expecting to everybody agree. And, you know, radio, if we all just sat around and agree with each other, wouldn't be a very compelling discussion. You know, so I'm not sitting here trying to be right. But I feel pretty convicted in that idea that, like, I think they're not playing for him. They're playing for themselves, I think is where I come out. But I respect that thought, too. And I totally get where you're coming from. And, you know, I know you know a little bit about your background and you know your experience in being part of a team and you know, and it's a big deal. You have a lot on the line with the success of said team, and so I definitely appreciate your comments, appreciate your point of view on that, and always, man, always love the calls from Josh in the 703. All right, next up, let's see who do we got here. Let's see. I believe this is Jay in St. Louis.
Hey, Murf.
Hey.
Swaggo. Michelle. It's Jay from St. Louis. And to be honest with you guys, I watched Monday Night Raw over Monday Night Football because that's actually entertaining. And when it got over, I switched over to, and it was the third quarter. I'm like, oh, I didn't miss much. It's fucking 12 to 6 or whatever, like some ass number. I'm like, I didn't miss much. Turns out I missed a bunch of fucking blocks and just incompetence all around. If you're still defending AP as the coach next year, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but you need to stop. Because, like, no. You want some positives. We're number one again, number one in the draft. So there's that. Anyone thinking that we shouldn't get a quarterback is, I want what you're smoking. The shit I'm smoking doesn't hit that hard. Because I want that. Like, oh, it's not a top QB draft. I don't give a fuck. Like you said, Murph, let's cue our rock. Sit your candy ass down and shut up, bitch. We need a quarterback to throw to Birds, the Conqueror. And you know who can do that? Mr. Shador. Let's go. We're number one. I'm positive again.
Like Brock for Brock, the Conqueror himself, Brock. You want to see your husband fight Brock? You got it! It's on! You can't beat Brock. Best friend in the world, Brock. I got 2 words for you. Brock!
All right, give it up for Jay in St. Louis. Yeah, Brock deserves better, man. Like, why are we not freaking targeting that guy more often? That was bananas, man. The lack of productivity from quarterback to said, you know, Conqueror himself. Why would you not? Why is he not the number? And I know Jacoby Myers had some nice plays there at the end of the game, and I can be appreciative of that. It was about garbage time, but still, that idea that, like, feed Brock, like, just give him the football. Figure out, and this is, oh gosh, I have so many questions. Why are we not finding ways to get that guy open? Like, if you're, whatever you're doing isn't working, like, they're not putting 3 guys on him every play. Like, you can find ways to get him into space. You can line him up. You all know. I mean, if you're watching this show, you know how versatile of a player he is. He can be all the way outside. He can be in the slot. You can put him at fullback. You can put him at freaking running back. You can put him all over the field, let alone tight end. Oh, yeah, because that's what he plays. So, like, why would you not just move him around all over the place and force it? Like, I think if anything, if we're going to, as a fan base, we would have an understanding of forcing it to that guy. Like, I get it. If you're forcing it to freaking Trey Tucker, I mean, Tucker's a nice player, but that doesn't make sense. But you can force it to Brock Bowers. Like that, I don't know. Because I think why is because he can bail you out. And that's the reason that I say that, is that, you know, and that's, again, I'm not taking a shot at Trey Tucker, but he's not bailing you out of a play. How many times have we seen Brock Bowers already in his very young career bail his quarterback out of a bad throw? We've seen it like frequently. So force it to him. Let him make a play. So anyways, just my thoughts there. But I'm with you there, Jane St. Louis. Great call there, my man. And yeah, enjoy your wrestling, which we love around here too. But all right, next up, let's go to, I believe this is Donovan.
What's going on, man? It's Donovan, man. So, yeah, about that game last night, man. We could have won that game, man. And I know how people feel about, you know what I'm saying, what we need to do this season, about the, you know what I'm saying, everybody got their opinion about the future of this franchise, man, what we need to do, but we could have won that game, man. We could have won a lot of games this year, man. All right? I know people saying we need a quarterback for the future, but look, man, this team we are stuck in the middle right now. We see all the potential this team has, and we know what we need, man. Mark Davis, Donnie Douglas Morgan, Antonio Pierce, Champ Kelly, and Tom Telesco have to have a real serious talk about the future of this franchise, man, and put everything on the table, man. Say how you really feel. Say how you really feel, man. I know people say we need a quarterback. I know, man. I want Shador. I want Cam Ward. You know, I rolled the dice on Jalen Milroe because his upside is crazy, man. But when your defense is keeping you in games multiple times this season, man, we have to win these games because we are not a bad team, Raider Nation. I'm a millennial, man. I've witnessed the dark ages, man. 3-13, 2-14, 4-12. Just win one, baby. Start 0-10, man. We are not a bad team. All right, we got so many key injuries on defense, and we were still in that game, man. Multiple times, man. We are not a bad team, man. We just need to understand, what are we doing with the future of this franchise, man? Because we were just in the playoffs no less than 5 years ago. This ain't about, Derek Carr. We were a competitive team less than 5 years ago. What happened, man? Look, man. I'm trying to win. I know that's so cliche. I'm trying to win. We could be in the playoff hunt right now with the amount of talent on this team, man. All right? Those 5 people I named earlier have to have a real serious conversation about the future of this franchise, man. We could have won that game last night, man. We could have beat the Chiefs. Look, man, Raider Nation, we are just stuck in the middle right now, man. We see the potential, but we know where we at, man. What are we doing, man? All right? What are we doing? All right? You know how you make yourself feel better? Just win, baby.
There we go, Donovan. Appreciate the call, and absolutely just win, baby. And I'm with him. I don't have the same sense of optimism around some of the areas of the team that Donovan does. But I do appreciate this idea that, like, we were in this game and could have won it. And I think that, you know, this whole tank for Shador thing and all that stuff, and, you know, Josh brought it up too earlier. This, you know, it's one thing for a fan to bring a sign like that to the stadium, and then it's another thing for ESPN to show it constantly. Like, we have literally become a laughingstock at this point. But, you know, having the Raiders be in a game, like, and you know, have an opportunity to win it on prime time, I mean, that's still a good thing. I mean, even if, because I can't root for the team to tank. I can't root for the team to lose. It's never going to freaking happen. But that said, Donovan, I'd be lying though to you, man, if we didn't get to certain points in that game and I was like, all right. I guess here's where I'm at. Let me respond to your call like this, Donovan, is that for the first time in a very, very long time, I felt indifferent as a Raider fan. And I think that that's where a lot of people are. And, you know, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Like, it's not caring. It's just like, whatever happens, who cares? And I think that that's where my heart is shifting to, is to where, like, all right, let's just let it play out, and however it plays out, then we'll figure it out, because we're going to be in a transition period for this football team no matter what. And so I think that that's an indictment of the team, man. Like, it takes a lot to get us to a point of indifference, and unfortunately, that's where we're at, though. But I respect your optimism. I respect your healthy outlook on it, and we'll see. At the end of the day, it does. As we know, it doesn't come down to us fans. It comes down to Mark Davis and in the front office. And I'll tell you something that we definitely agree on, is that this front office, I don't think that Sandra Douglas Morgan is going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think Champ Kelly makes I think there's no reason to move anywhere from him or Telesco. I think that the business side of the Raiders, and in the young history of this front office, building a roster, so far so good. Now we'll see where it goes. Like, you got to get it right. They got it right once, but just what is the NFL, right? Now do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, right? That's what builds teams. It's not just lucking out on one draft, Reggie McKenzie. It's what do you do year out, year out, multiple times. That's what builds a competitive football team. So we'll see where it goes. But appreciate the call. As always, Donovan, keep them coming, my friend. All right, next up, let's see. This is 559, so I'm assuming this is our buddy Jacob in Fresno.
Murf, Jeff, and Michelle, to good old buddy Jacob from Fresno. What's up, guys? So I know I'm going to get some pushback, right? I'm going to try and keep it lighthearted. I'm not going to come out here and say, y'all are dumb, you stupid ding-dongs, and I don't know what. Yeah, that's not what I'm coming here to say. You guys are a bunch of ding-dongs, but I love you. Anywho, welcome to the club. We lost, right? Yeah, we lost. And everybody's up in, up in a roar, a rage. What is the saying? I don't know. I'm flustered, flabbergasted, all kinds of stuff. AP, right? Everybody's mad at AP. Everybody wants AP to go. Here's what I'm going to say, guys. I'm going to double down. I know where it's going already. But I just don't think AP has done enough to lose the job. That's where I'm going with it. Because if AP, he did confirm in his press conference today that he is under contract for next year. So it wasn't just a one and done, right? I'm of the opinion that if AP is already under contract, he didn't do anything to terminate that contract this year. And why do I say that? Because I can already hear some of you guys go, oh, gosh, come on, Jacob from Fresno. But let me make a case here. And I'm not going to go with injuries. Everybody's saying injuries, right?
No.
But you look at this roster. You look at the players that we got. We got Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, right? We got – who else we got? Right? That's it. Maybe Devontae Adams. You throw him in there. And then after that, we lost Josh Jacobs. We've lost everybody. And I mean, give some respect to Jacoby Myers and obviously Brock Bowers we know now. But coming into this season, who did we have? And then we got Luke Gessie at offensive coordinator. Nobody here was sold on that. And we were trying to give AP the benefit of the doubt. We didn't really know who made the decision. We all assumed it had to be AP. But we know for sure that AP chose Cliff Kingsbury first. And we know for sure that he wanted to go all out to get Jaden Daniels. The problem is those two options were not available, right? And we're seeing the season go the way it should have gone because those things fell through, right? And what we're seeing now is the logical end to everything else that built up. If you're looking at it, without the beer goggles, this makes sense. That's why I'm telling you guys, I don't think he's done enough to say he's a terrible coach. I don't know that he's a good coach even. But the thing is, if we fire him now, we will never know. I'm good with, next season, if we start off terribly, yeah, okay, a pattern. There's a pattern here. But what about last year, guys? There was something there, wasn't there? There was something. You have to give me that at least. All right, guys, you take it easy. I'm going to run out of time. I love you guys. You take it easy. Go Raiders.
All right, there he is, Jacob from Fresno, man. Yeah, I mean, listen, I again go back to, I can appreciate the optimism around it, but what has he done to not get his job back? I don't know, lose 10 football games straight? Like, how many excuses are we going to make? And this is the thing that I land on, and is that we've made excuses for this football team forever. And I think I've, at least just in my fandom, I'm not saying anybody else has to think like me. I'm just saying that where I've arrived in my fandom is that I'm not making excuses for him anymore. And for, our little platform and community here, and for whatever our voices on these microphones are worth, I'm not going to make excuses for them. I'm going to be optimistic. That's never going to leave me. I'm always going to come into these things looking for the best in things, but also with the stark realization that we got to be real about stuff, and we can't fool ourselves. And at least I can't fool myself into the idea of looking at this and going well, if this were different than that, or if this were different than that. And when if this were different, when those become multiple things, it's like we got to hold the people that are responsible for it accountable. The end. That's where I get to, Jacob. It's who's responsible for it, and at what point are they culpable? It was we gave a quarterback an excuse for 9 years. We did that dance for 9 years. And, if he had this. If he had that. And then when he got those things, well, yeah, but now this. It's to me that the excuse thing, I'm just, again, for whatever it's worth, if not anything, as a fan, I just don't want to make excuses for him anymore. They are what they are. Bill Parcells famously said, "You are what your record says you are." And right now, our record says we are 2-12 and lost 10 games straight. And who is responsible for that? Antonio Pierce. Yes, the injuries are non-controllables, but I think the ultimate indictment of his tenure so far as a coach in the 2024 season has been the controllables. The hirings, the decision-making off the field, the decision-making in games, the inconsistency, those things are just not there. And while I can love Antonio Pierce and who he is as a guy and as a way he, embodies the spirit of the Raiders, and he's a cool guy and drives cool cars, and you know what I mean? I like all that. No one wants him to be a better coach than me, I promise you. But he's just not it. And so I'm not going to make excuses for the guy. It's just, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. You just know it. You know when a relationship is bad. We can wish for it. Oh, yeah, but if this were different, then maybe it would have worked out. Yeah, but it's just not working out. So let's just move on. So anyways, all right, next up, we got one more to get to before we get out of here for the night. Appreciate it as always. Jacob from Fresno. This is our buddy, new-ish friend of the show. This is Steve from San Diego.
Hey, this is Steve from San Diego. Hey, tried calling us. I don't know if it was going to get through because you did a thing and didn't hear any phone calls. So I don't know. I was called once, and then I go, I just remember every time I call, something else comes up, and I'm like, I should call again. Anyway, so, I was trying to say something last week. As far as next year, I was watching a thing called Raider D podcast, and I was actually looking at the comments during the podcast, and I saw some guy saying he was talking about how he's an Uber driver, and he was in, I forget where he was, and he had the nephew of Antonio Pierce in his car. And he had him for a while, and he was talking to him for a while about what's going on. It just feels like, I don't know if you, even last game, it feels staged. Like he's already in collaboration. Like, you see him on the sideline, and you see, why is he smiling and all that stuff? See him on the side because he's in a collaboration with Mark Davis about getting, tanking for Shador. And even maybe kind of in the beginning of the season. So in some way, maybe not originally, but it kind of evolved that way. So it just seems like Antonio Pierce, it's like he's almost, put it this way. How would you look like you're not tanking and tank, because you can't even have a hint or you get penalized and the draft pick won't even matter anyway. So he can't even have a hint. It's got to look absolutely like, they're just bad. And he's just being a terrible coach. And then next year, it's like, okay, he wasn't. It was all part of the plan. So I don't know. It just seems, everything kind of seems weird. So we'll have to see what plays out. But, I was saying one thing, and then I heard that, and I'm going, well, we're going to have to see what's going on. So, I kind of hope that is, because then it'll mean he's actually more like last year than he is this year. So anyway, hopefully, but the other thing's got to get great coaching, good offensive line, build a good, solid foundation and consistency. And that's about it. But I hope things pan out, man. So we'll see. Talk to you later. Bye.
Wow, that's wild. And you know, I don't buy into that. I don't buy into the idea of any kind of a tank ever. It doesn't happen in the NFL. It doesn't happen in professional sports, man. Can you put in younger players with the idea of let's seeing them develop, and then, hey, if things go great, then fine. If not, then fine. That's kind of where I'm at with Carter Bradley, right? Like, let's find out what we got. The season's lost, so let's not sweat so much, like, selling ourselves out to win the game. Let's go ahead and move into more of an evaluative state to close out the season. I think that there is truth to that, but to have a premeditated, planned tank going into an NFL season, I'm sorry, man. I think it's a pretty far-fetched idea there, that there would be some, I don't know, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Some, what's the word I'm looking for? Conspiracy or whatever, some sort of, an agreement between him and Mark Davis heading into the season. I mean, like I don't know, man. That seems like a little extreme to me there. And I think too that's also a way for us to, as the kids say, cope. That's a way for us to be like, oh, okay, yeah, our Raiders suck because we're trying to suck. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, well, I would have never have dated you anyways. Well, look, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a cop-out to me to go with that whole tank thing. And so I don't think so, man. I don't think this is some sort of 2-year plan. And then the ultimate evidence of that to me, and thank you for the call, as always, my friend, Steve in San Diego. I think the ultimate evidence to run against that is that when Antonio Pierce had his press conference this week, it was a Zoom call. It wasn't even an in-person call. It was a Zoom call, and the reporters, I think it was Vic, came right out and asked him about his status as the head coach of the Raiders. And you know what his response was, if you haven't heard it? It was, I'm under contract. It wasn't, hey, Mark and I talk all the time. We're good. We've got a plan going forward. It was a very somber call. And when posed with the question, where do you see yourself back here next year? He said, I'm under contract. That's not to me evident of a guy that feels very confident about his ability to come back. And I think that the laughing and which I didn't care for, by the way, and I know a lot of fans didn't care for that frivolity on the sideline as you're getting your freaking head kicked in. But that notion, to me, that's more of a white flag than anything. That's more of a surrender. It's like, well, all I can do is laugh my way out of this and just have fun and enjoy it because I'm going to get 3 more games on the sideline. I'm in the middle of my 4th on the sideline before I'm on my way out. Like, to me, that's what that message was to me, not of somebody that was like, nah, I'm good. I'll see y'all next year. I don't feel that at all. But again, I'm not here to be right. I'm just my knuckleheaded fan opinion. But anyways, appreciate all of those of you that called in tonight and jumped in the Sea of Fans mailbag. Let's see, who do we have? I need to find out who we had because we got to give a Sizzler Award. So we had Steve from San Diego. We had Jacob in Fresno. We had Donovan. We had Jay in St. Louis. And then we had Josh in the 703. So let's go ahead and I'm going to give it to, let's let, you know what? I don't want to pick this. Let's let the chat room pick it. Who's our best caller of the night? Which one did you guys think was the best caller? Those were all fantastic, and we appreciate all of them equally. But, hey, listen, we got to give an award to someone. So somebody give me a name there. The first one I see pops up, I'm going to give the Sizzler Award to. And thank you to all of those of you, again, that called. And if you want to be part of the show, you can call us at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Leave a message and we will play it here. And if we play your message 3 times, you can become the next made man or made maiden here at Raiders Fan Radio. And you can also do that by emailing the show, which we will read tomorrow night. Michelle will have your emails, which is show, that is SHOW, at RaidersFanRadio.com. All right, I got 2 out of 3 votes. Is Jordan. He is Jay in St. Louis, and congratulations, you are the Sizzler Award winner.
I am the Sizzler.
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 Oh, there's another button to push.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Ha ha. Ho ho he ha. Oh, and it's unanimous, actually. It's not 2 of 3 because Jordan and Jay are the same guy. So there you go. So congratulations to our good buddy, Jay in St. Louis. And thank you to all of those of you that joined us live tonight in the chat room. Appreciate Jay in St. Louis in there. Appreciate Martin and Paul holding it down for the UK. Appreciate Ron the Materator. Michelle's been in there. Yoshi is in there. Hooligan Nation. Roland Dubs is in there. This is like the freaking inner circle here of Raiders Fan Radio, man. All you diehards are in here and still hanging around not only has this season gone swiftly downhill, but your Raider fandom remains intact. And so I can't appreciate those of you enough. And it's one thing to do a Raiders podcast live. It's another thing to watch a Raiders podcast live. You guys are the hardcore of the hardcore, man. Checking out, dopey shows like this, but appreciate you very, very much. Love you guys so very, very much. I guess I should hit this button, the outro. Appreciate you so very much. We're going to be back tomorrow night. No break at all here. No rest for the Raiders Fan Radio crew. We're going to get back to you tomorrow night. We'll see you at 6 o'clock, and we'll see you there. Michelle's going to have your emails, and then we're going to have a fun roundtable discussion about kind of the same stuff we talked about tonight, but a little bit more. I got some topics we're going to get into tomorrow. Potentially sensitive. We're going to get into some stuff that came up this week that I didn't want to talk about without the full crew, and so we're going to get into that stuff tomorrow night. So definitely check us out. We'll see you tomorrow night here for Raiders Fan Radio. Thanks again to everybody in the chat room. Thanks to all of those of you watching live on the YouTube. Thank you to the folks that listen to the audio version of the podcast. Appreciate Underdog. Appreciate Fansided. Everybody that enables us to do this show. And so it's the Christmas season. So get your Marty Moose glass and your cup of eggnog and your Christmas tree and celebrate the season by being kind to one another. Let's love each other. This football team sucks, but we can still be nice to each other about it. All right, that's all I got. Baby, you got anything? Yell something cool. What? Yay fires? There's my wife. I'm gonna point the camera at you. There's my beautiful wife. Oh. For those of you on the audio podcast, old Murf just caught the bird. Yes. That's how we get down around here. All right, that's all I got. Love you guys. See you tomorrow night. Good night, YouTube.